Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. How common are left-handed guitars? And that includes bass guitars and, electrics, acoustics, and basses, okay? They're a lot more common nowadays than they used to be back when I started playing guitar when I was 14. So that's a long time ago. And even previous to me, okay? You had guys like Hendrix and whoever else played lefty, Paul McCartney. Not a lot of choices out there. And in the beginning times, anything that was left-handed tended to be a lot more expensive. And there are still a few companies, especially cheaper companies, again, I do mean cheap, that do charge more for their lefties than they do for their righties, okay? Now, companies like Gibson, back in 2018, everything in their arsenal was made that year only, left or right-handed. You had every single choice, okay? And I do believe that went down to color choices as well. I could be wrong on that. And that's when I bought my first Gibson Les Paul. So anyways, Epiphone did not have a ton of choices in 2018. Now they have a lot more choices. So they're kind of slowly building their choices up, but at least the prices do not change with Gibson. Okay, same as Epiphone, the prices are exactly the same, left or right-handed. Okay, companies like Taylor guitars, everything that they do every single guitar except for a couple Builder series guitars. They do it left or right-handed, no extra charge. Martin does every single guitar left or right-handed, no extra charge, okay? And there are many other companies that are along the same ways that whatever they make in right-handed, they make a left-handed version, maybe not every single guitar, but they'll do a lot of choices or even a few choices, but either way, that same guitar will be available that is being made both ways at the same price, okay? Like I said, but there are some exceptions. Now, Long & McQuade does not carry every single brand. Now, they're a nationwide dealer. They've got over 100 plus stores. They're opening up new stores all the time across the country here, okay? Then in the States, you've got companies like Guitar Center and many others as well. You got Sam Ash Music, you got Sweetwater, you got a ton of them. And I didn't open up the tabs for everybody, but there are definitely tons and tons of choices out there. Now, any music store that you walk into may not have a lot of left-handed guitars actually in stock because this costs them money to have that in stock, right? So they're going to have a few choice selections of stuff that they know is likely going to sell, and at whatever price range, okay? You also take a look at used gear. There are a lot of guitar shops that carry both new and used. Long McQuade in Canada is one of them. They do have their Gear Hunter section, but they also, generally they do have used gear of everything. Like whatever it happens to be, they've got used gear or something. And sometimes Long McQuade will also take in brands that they don't normally carry either. Okay, now the drawback to that side of the fence is when it comes to extended warranties, they can only give you a 30 or 90-day warranty, whatever it is, on the used item because it's not a brand that they carry. Like, for example, Long McQuade never used to do Black Star until this past year. So, if you were to sell that gear or trade it in, then you wouldn't get very much because it's not a brand they carry. They can't put either a warranty on it or they'll have a very minimal warranty on it kind of thing. Now they're a Black Star dealer, so now you're actually going to get more bang for your buck, especially when you buy from them and you sell back to them for trade-in, you actually get more money back. Whereas if, like I ran into, they're an Ibanez dealer. I bought an Ibanez guitar, paid 400 and some bucks for this thing at Claim Sound and Music, and I got pittance in return for it. Because, yeah, they do carry Ibanez, but I didn't buy it from them, so they don't pay as much because it's not part of their normal stock as far as that goes and whatever other excuse they used. and I didn't get much back out of it. But then again, Acclaimed Sound and Music, they don't give refunds. They don't do used gear either. All sales are final finite, done, okay? If you don't like it, tough beans. They don't care about you, and that's just Acclaim. And be careful with Acclaimed Sound and Music, especially if you're in Canada. This company tends to be a little shady in their practices because all of their prices on their guitars say, this is the retail, this is the sale price. No, their sale price is actually the retail price, literally. You can check against any other company in the country, and you are going to find that their alleged sale price is actually everybody's retail. So they do that, I guess, in a way to scam to create sales. I have no idea. But that is the one thing I don't like about them, other than the fact they don't do refunds. They'll do an in-store credit. That's about it. And what good is that going to do you if you find something somewhere else? It doesn't, because your credit's only good with them. This is why I like Long McQuaid. They do refunds. They do exchanges. They do the trade-in thing. They're great. I love dealing with this company. However, getting back to our video, we have cheap brands like Denver, Beaver Creek. These are very beginner grade level machines. Some of them are okay, some of them suck. Okay, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own though. They got the Squire series, mini strats, full size strats, the Sonic series. Now Squire doesn't make a lot of lefties. Fender makes quite a few lefties, but everything you even see on the website isn't everything that Long McQuaid actually has access to. Okay, they have a lot on their website for a lot of choices. Left-handed in stock at any Long McQuaid store. There's usually 6 or less at all times that are in stock at any Long McQuaid. And at every Long McQuaid too, they don't carry the exact same inventory of guitars either, okay, among other things too. When the Gravenhurst location opened up, they carried more of a variety of amps in stock than our North Bay store does, because our North Bay store is much smaller in size compared to the Gravenhurst store. It's much bigger, and so they're able to fit more in the store, more choices, and that's how I ended up getting my Pathfinder amp. Is I went to Gravenhurst because they actually had it in stock. I could actually try it first before I bought it. Then you got like Squire Affinities, you got Martin, you got Kramer, you got Steinberger, Ibanez makes a few guitars, Jackson, Sterling by Music Man, you know, like I said, Taylor, Kramer, that sort of thing. There's like over 400 options here within 5 pages just on Long McQuaid's website alone. And this is not all the left-handed guitars that they have access to from these brands. And some of these brands definitely have the entire range. Some of them don't. It varies a brand, right? Alamassa is another brand that they now carry. Takamine they carry now too. Hofner, if you like Hofner. Personally, I will say this. I've checked out the Hofner bass and the Epiphone bass, which looks identical. Buy the Epiphone. It is way freaking better and built way better for actually a little bit less money. But cause a friend of mine got both. But anyways, that's one. The other one's LA Music. They're in Canada. They have left-handed electric guitars. They have brands that Long McQuaid doesn't do. Okay. And Long McQuaid does do Charvel, though they don't really stock much in the way of Charvel. These guys stock more in Charvel for left or righties. Okay. These guys also carry Epiphones. They carry ESP, LTD, which Long McQuaid will carry a lot of these brands too. Schecter guitars you're going to find at Acclaimed Sound and Music and many other music stores. Schecter is not a brand you see at Long McQuaid unless it is a used one, because they're not a Schecter dealer. Now you got Amazon, Donner, Lynx Pro. Now these are pretty cheap brands. Some of them are not bad. I would check YouTube videos first on these before you even think about it. The Kona ones I'm going to actually suggest to actually now avoid. I had one Kona guitar and I think I got lucky with it because it was a pretty good little guitar. I noticed that the Hawk Shop in North Bay on Main Street has a Kona acoustic in there that's a lefty. And I thought, hey, that's not bad. And I think they wanted like just over $200 for it. And it's a really nice looking guitar. It's very lightweight. It's nice. Beginner grade, obviously. It's Kona. But hey, I'm not opposed to any guitar, right? And but then I went to go and try and play it, and it's like you don't even have to touch the strings, and they're like literally laying on the frets on one side of the neck, but up on the other. So yeah, we have a very badly twisted neck, and yet they want money. It's like, I don't know how they got that onto the showroom floor, or let alone bring it into their store, because that is an absolute abhorrent piece of garbage, and you cannot straighten out that twisted neck. It wouldn't even be worth doing it if you could on such a cheap, garbagey guitar. So yeah, kind of avoid those. Yamaha has a few lefties, not that many, okay, but they do have a few. And you got Piley, which is another cheap brand. They do have brands up here that are very common to other music stores, like they have Ibanez, they have Epiphones, they have a few other brands as well that are common, regular brands. I actually used to have this Jackson JS series. It's about $500, which is pretty much about on par with Lon McQuaid. Now that's gone up $100 since the world got flipped upside down when I bought mine, because I actually paid, I think, $400 for mine. So it's gone up $100 in price because thanks to inflation. You know what I mean? But there are tons of choices out there. Okay, tons of choices. So people who say there's not that many choices for lefties, tell them to stuff a sock in it, because there are a lot of choices, okay? Tons of choices. And if you're really into the exotic guitars that regular music stores never carry, you can find those too out there in the wild, okay? Especially like Kessler and a few others. Not everybody carries Kessler guitars, and they're fantastic. And they do have some lefty models as well, from what I understand. Then you got Tokai and many others out there too that are not normally found in regular music stores, right? And some of these can be pretty affordable, and some of them can be darn right first, second, third, fourth born, and probably both your legs to afford. You know what I mean? I mean, they can get pretty pricey, right? But a lot of guitars can, right? So it's kind of, you've got a lot of options out here. That's the point I'm trying to make, is you do have a lot of options. Now, as far as whether or not you should play left or right-handed guitar, I'll do a separate video on that, because that's going to take a while to really explain in full. I do play both ways, though I am a ruler of the lefty, but on the righty, I'm getting there. I need more time and practice and time to get in the practice, but I can easily make it through any of our worship services at church playing left or right-handed without any issues, so I'm not too worried about that. But it is hard to play both ways, I'll give you that, okay? So anyways, I just want to give you guys a little bit of information, so if you are a left-handed person, or you know, you're really super struggling with right-handed, in all my years of teaching, there's been a few students where, you know, they were left-handed dominant, I had to switch them to righty, and I had right-handed dominant people, I had to switch them to lefty. And then I've had one or two that, well, they have absolutely no talent or skill level whatsoever that they could ever even dream of trying to play guitar, so they need to try something else, like maybe piano or flute or something else. Because guitar is not for everybody either, okay? And not just anybody can play guitar. It's just not a possible thing in this world. Okay, but if you are definitely struggling on one side and you're not getting anywhere, and you are putting in the time, you're trying to work through it all, you're doing all the do's, flip to the other side, okay? And if that works for you, fantastic. If it doesn't work for you, and you got to give it your all, and you got to give it time, okay? That's the big thing here. You got to do the work. But if you can't do either side, you're just not meant to be a guitar player. That's all there is to it. You never will be. So, you know, and there's a lot of excuses that can be used out there, and I think that those excuses are nothing but BS. So, but we'll talk about all that in another video, because that takes more time to get into, of all the ins and outs on that stuff. But do be aware, there are a ton of left-handed choices out there, some of which are very affordable and very good guitars, some of them very affordable and junky, and others are just magnifique, but pony up the dough, baby, okay? Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.